A great day to be on the grass. Fired up about this game for all the obvious reasons. A great matchup right here. Division opponent at home in Bank of America Stadium. A lot of energy in the building, a lot of excitement from the guys, and we understand what it's going to require. Focus. It's going to require our best playing against these types of opponents. You know, the Bucs, namely, this part of the season. And so I'm fired up to get going, and as well as the rest of the group.
What did you learn about Baker and his experience that he had here, how you felt about that while you were in Tampa?
We didn't talk much about his experience here other than right off when we first met. You know, it was more just the collective experiences he's had throughout the NFL. And my default with veteran players, you know, whether it's at the wide receiver or quarterback position over the years, is just to lean on the information and knowledge that you've gathered from the different spots, the breadth of experience against defenses. You know, by the time I got to work with Baker, he's seen every coverage and every blitz possible, and I try to remind him of that to play fast. And, you know, those are kind of the natures of our conversations.
Is this ankle and foot been bothering T-Mac for a while?
This is stuff that just came up in the game. I think he got rolled up on a run play, it looked like, and, you know, just kind of, you know, built up on him, and we just decided to, you know, keep him out of practice today, try to get him back for tomorrow.
I was going to ask with Baker, how much does he resemble the player that you coached versus where you see he may be different at this stage?
Yeah, he just continues to take his game up and really just time on task with the group of receivers that he's gotten comfortable with. And they're back to full strength in terms of just the guys that they were counting on coming into this season. And I can certainly see the excitement of trying to get Mike the way they get Mike the ball, and Chris as well, and they got Bucky back as well. So a bunch of different weapons on that side, and you know, Baker's kind of right in the middle of that, being the point guard and distributing and making sure the offense works smoothly.
I asked Princely this, but what is it about this team that you guys have excelled with your backs against the wall, per se?
It's the character of the team, and you know, the guys look at these different opportunities to respond to adversity, and whether it's in a game or whether it's after the game, coming into the next one, and losing has a way of humbling you, you know, and we're no different than any group where, you know, the greatest things is these opportunities, even when you lose, can you learn from the things? Can you learn from the stuff that we didn't execute well, or different situations that I could have called something different, and Jarrow as well, and Tracy, you know, all of us taking that information in and being accountable to each other. And I believe that's probably, as I talk and ramble, getting to the accountability piece of it, where we all know we have a part in it, and so we just attack it head on and try to write those things in meetings. And when we can't wait to get back on the field to shore up some of the things that we want to show up for us.
Do you think this team responds better to adversity or success?
I mean, certainly the record would say to adversity and the way we've responded, and it does take a mentality and a mindset to be able to handle success well, so that shows up consistently, and that's what we've been after. That's what we've been trying to capture, is how to just keep it going and just build off of the things, build off of successes, and saying, let's find new lessons to learn. Let's not relearn lessons that we've already talked about and grown from. So we have another opportunity for that this week.
You talk about in your passing game, you want to find a focal point. When did T-Mac kind of become a player that you believed was able to be that?
It was pretty clear in training camp with the different formations we threw at him, the way that he was able to handle moving around in formation, the different concepts we try to throw at him, and targeting him a bunch, you know, really early on, kind of put him on teams' radar, and they started to make adjustments to try to take him away. And then, you know, we've seen in recent weeks Jalen Coker taking advantage of opportunities and matchups that way, and we want to continue to build that that way.
You're in Tampa. What did you learn about Mike Evans that you didn't know from afar?
Just the competitor that he is. It really didn't matter what it was. It could be ping pong, it could be darts, it could be cards. Certainly on the field, shooting hoops, whatever it is, he just loves to compete. He loves to find that moment. He brings a lot of energy. He's challenging somebody and very comfortable in that place. And I just think that's probably obvious. Besides the obvious things, you know, he's huge and he's got a catch radius and understands coverage and how to beat things. It's really just the competitive mindset that he has.
He looked coming back last week off that injury.
I thought he looked strong. I thought he looked really physical, you know, right back to the style of play, you know, talking about Mike, you know, this is a guy that forces you to play a physical nature, and, you know, certainly can't, you know, go without saying, you know, he draws a lot of defensive pass interference calls, you know, and going into this game, I understand the crew that we have, you know, that's something that they do call. This is information we're aware of, but we have to be up to the challenge, and JC and Mike are going to have their opportunities, and you have to play him physical, and because he's going to bring that power forward type of mindset, to the position. And so we're not going to back off of that. We have to continue to challenge him in different ways.
I know you want to focus on a week-to-week basis, but how important is it to stress urgency of being able to control your own destiny during the next 3 weeks?
Every game is a championship opportunity. We don't see this one as anything different. It is obvious now for the division right in front of us, this opportunity and how huge it is, and I can feel a sense that the players feel that and see that and know that we can't let that be a distraction. We can't make it more than it is. It's about us executing. It's about us playing clean football, getting rid of some of the things that showed up last week and making sure that we play our best brand. And I can stand in front of the group and say, when we play good football, we can beat anybody. And that's a true statement for this group. And I'm proud that we've worked ourselves to that point, but we got to make it happen. We got to bring it to Sunday.
Icky was a DNP. Can you give us more information?
Yeah, he made it through the game. He was battling out there, and you can kind of sense there was some stuff going on. But, in the post-game evaluation and as we start doing tests on him, there's something in there. There's something going on with his knee, and so we had to make sure that we took care of him today. He's going to be day-to-day. We're going to look at him tomorrow, see if we can get him out there to practice. But we're not really sure right now. So, we'll go through it. We'll make sure we do all the testing that we need to and do the right thing by Icky. And, he wants to play. And I wouldn't expect anything different from him. But we have to make sure we do the right thing and put him through the ringer and make sure we test it so that it's strong and he's able to perform.
Fair to say that McMillan is also day-to-day?
Yes.
Billy and that spot, are you?
Yeah, Josh Nyman would step in there. He practiced today for us without Icky, and Jake Curhan, who played guard for us mostly. He's played tackle in his past, too. So we got a couple of guys that could help us out if we need them to.
They put McCollum on injured reserve this week. Just from what you've seen, how does that kind of change their defense, and how do you prepare when it's going to be somebody new out there?
Yeah, Zion's a part of a couple of different packages that they used, thinking about my time there. They can move him around in different spots. He can play safety. He certainly is their starting corner, but he can play in the slot. He can play safety and gives them some versatility. So they're going to have to lean on somebody else to kind of fill those roles. But he's been a really consistent player out there for him. He's big and athletic. He's a really fine player. And so, the next guy's got to step up, and we have to try to make sure we take advantage of some of those opportunities.
Rob Hunt I know that you activated David Moore. Do you know what you're going to do with him for the remainder of the season yet?
It's week to week, and we did not feel confident enough, after the first couple of days to open up his window. This week, we'll revisit it through the weekend and look at next week to see if we can open that up.
When you say that you can feel that guys, perhaps that sense of urgency,
Yeah.
What is it that you're noticing?
It's a focus. It's a seriousness, and we have fun. We really enjoy being around each other here, and the energy is right, but then there's also just like the subtle social cues where I can see this guy's locked in, and this guy's like, I can feel that, and every game should feel that way. But I don't want to certainly ignore, the game that we have in front of us, and I don't have to oversell the fact that this is a championship moment for the guys.
Dave, when you got the job,
Couple more.
when you were hired here, obviously through the interview process, you had a plan for how you were going to bring the franchise along. Where are you in your plan? And as the progress and the wins and the success has come, have you maybe altered that plan, or where do you slot in with this right now?
Yeah, the plan is to build a team that we can all be proud of, the Panthers fans, and especially in this building. The organization, the administration, the players, the coaches, something that we can be proud of. Excellence, great processes in every way, shape, and form, whether that's in the training room or the weight room or the cafeteria, or especially with our coaching staff and players. My dream is to continue to build that, to have great fundamentals, great core part of what we're doing. And I'm really pleased with the fact that we're building that, and we have an identity of who we are, and now we're trying to find the consistency of that. But that's been my dream. That's been a part of what we're trying to build here, and we're certainly on the way to that.
And there was a report that the NFL admitted to you guys they blew the replay on T-Mac's catch. How did you take that news, and did they own up to any other errors?
They have to make live calls, and they have to go with the information that they're given. There's nothing we can do about that. What we can focus on is executing, doing our part, and we certainly gave up some opportunities in that game, and that's got to be our focus. That's my focus. I'm focused on getting ready for the Bucs. Whatever comes up after the game, those things can either you know, you can either be justified for it, or you can just say, okay, everybody's accountable to each other. We've had this conversation, we've had that information, and you just got to move on and get ready for the next week.
Feedback on those hits on Shuck?
None that I would really want to talk about. I mean, we're focused on this week, and you know, I kind of want to leave those conversations between, you know, us and the officials.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.